Hi all! Welcome to my channel. My name is Gréta and I make sign-along videos, sign-by-sign tutorials and chronic illness related content. I have multiple health conditions, but I consider POT as my primary one, and one of its traits is that it often co-occurs with other conditions as well, which are called comorbidities. The most common of these comorbidities is migraines, and it affects about 40% of POTS patients, which is much higher than the average public. And, lucky me, I'm one of them. In today's video, we'll talk about what migraines are, the most common types, and the different stages that may or may not occur during. Although I am a neuroscientist, I am not your healthcare professional, so please, if you suspect that you have migraines, talk to your GP and do not rely on Dr. Google. All facts and figures referred to in this video are from legitimate sources, for all of which you can find a link in the description below. So, what is a migraine? Before getting into all the nitty-gritty details, first we need to establish that migraine is more of an umbrella term, and there are many different subtypes such as classic migraines, migraines with or without aura, silent migraines, and some others as well. A person could have more than one type of migraines during their lifetime, and just because you get migraine once, it doesn't mean that you'll necessarily have it often. There are people who only get it once and they live until their 90s, and there are people who have it multiple times a week. Migraines typically last somewhere between 4 hours and 72 hours, which, yes, is 3 days. But it can be longer than that. For example, just the other month I had an 8-day long migraine, which was just fabulous. There are some other common themes tying them all together. For example, the different stages, which may or may not be present, but I will try and touch base on the different types as I go through the stages. Stage 1, prodromal phase. You feel like something is off. You feel really tired. Wait, now you feel really energetic. You could cry for hours, but wait, no, never mind. This is the happiest you've ever been. It might not be this extreme, but you get what I mean. It's the small changes and you know something is off, but you just can't point a finger at it. These small signs can start hours or even days before an actual migraine attack. So no wonder that often I don't realize that, oh yeah, that was prodromal, until I'm already at the next stage or the stage after that. I could probably figure out some predictors if I kept a really tight migraine log, but I just don't have the spoons for that right now. Bear in mind though that not everyone gets a prodromal stage, which means that you might ace that bullet journal, but still not get any obvious pattern. Stage 2, auras. Most migraine sufferers do not get that, as it only affects about 1 in 3 patients. It can come in different types, but the most common one is visual auras. It can appear as flashing lights or zigzags, floaters, all sorts. Mine is actually quite pretty. It's distracting, but pretty. It kind of feels like that my head is inside a snow globe and things are just kind of floating around, making everything a bit shiny. Not useful when you're trying to concentrate on something though. But as someone who did already have a retinal detachment, if you're concerned and you have floaters, flashing lights and things like that, it might be safe to see an optician, just in case your retinals start peeling off without no warning signs. Anyhow, but that's the visual aura. The somatosensory one, for me at least, it's goosebumps, normally only on one side of my body, but it can go to the level of numbness. But it is also a relatively common form of auras. A thing that I find particularly interesting is a language aura. You lose your ability to speak. I personally don't think I experience it. I do have aphasia occasionally, but I think it's mainly because of my points when it happens. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, you can check out the video by following the card above or the link in the description. People who don't have POTS or a similar condition might still lose their ability to speak. If you want to learn more about the different types of auras, do let me know. These auras, no matter what type, can be present for somewhere between 5 minutes to 50 minutes, an hour. But what they only tell you in the small print, you can get multiple auras on the same day, just little gaps between them. They can either appear before or during the next stage, which is stage 3, the headache. Or the migraines do get the reputation for headaches. Not everyone with migraines gets headaches, hence the name silent migraine. This just means you get every other symptom but the headache. The pain is usually pulsating and throbbing, normally affecting one side, for which medical professionals might use the word unilateral, and these sides can vary between migraines, or they can also be bilateral, meaning they affect both sides of your head. It is often accompanied by feeling sick, vomiting, or extreme sensitivity to light, sounds, smells. This stage, as I said, can last somewhere between 4 and 72 hours, but it can be much longer. For this stage, I do have some tips that you might find helpful, but I'll talk about that later. First, let's move on to stage 4, resolution stage. Some people also call it the hangover stage. However, as someone who never had a hangover, #genetics, and due to various health issues, I cannot drink alcohol at all. I just have to take their word for it. During this last stage, you might find yourself being particularly tired and drained. I personally often feel like I'm always on the edge of accidentally triggering another attack. This can last from a few days to maybe a week or 2 even. Again, varies from person to person. Whether you have migraines or not, however, I hope you did learn something from this video, and thank you so much for sharing it with your friends and family, because it is so important to raise awareness that migraines aren't just horrible headaches. In my next chatty video on the 4th of August, which is in 2 weeks time if you're watching this on the day of the release, I will be sharing some tips and tricks with you about how to manage certain symptoms of migraines. Do you have any tricks up your sleeve yourself? I am desperate to try anything on the bad days. So leave your suggestions in the comments down below, or you can also find me on Twitter and on Instagram. As a little life update from me, when this video is coming out, I would have just graduated the day before from Cardiff University, and I will be only 3 days away from getting married. How awesome is that? I will be covering that in a wedding with chronic illness video, and fingers crossed that there won't be many mistakes that you can learn from. If you don't want to miss that and all the other videos in between, make sure you subscribe and click the bell so you get notification when new content is released. But for now, thank you for watching. Take care. Bye bye.